This is Stihl's new one-person auger system, and it is a really a beautiful piece of equipment. I'm going to go over what in particular makes it a really nice advanced design. Let me just point out some things. The attachments on this go from a 6-inch in diameter bore to an 8-inch diameter in bore, and then what they call a planting auger. And all these can be driven up to the depth of the auger bit or the planter bit, and then it has an 18-inch extension that you can put on top of it. So the machine itself, let's just quickly go over how you start one of these. This is an interesting system because it's clutched, and so what's important before you start any of these is that you disengage the clutch. The clutch system on this, that's really smart from my perspective, from a guy that's used single augers before and had them torque and wrench my wrists, is that this system is designed that the minute this torques, your hip bumps the clutch and disengages the machine. When you want to re-engage it, you put it on again. So again, if it torques, it just popped and disengaged. When you start the machine, you always want to start this in a disengaged position so that you don't have this free spin on you. And there's 3 steps to really starting any Stihl machine. First, find the fuel bulb, which is here. It's got fuel in it, but you depress it 5 times to make sure that you have good fuel flow. There's a choke. And with all Stihls in almost any machine, when the choke lever is at an angle, that means that you are using the choke. That's when it's cold. And once you get it to start, you automatically turn it to run, which is a straight line. The last step that's easy to forget is this start button. If you try to put it on the start button with just doing it, it won't stay. You have to pull the trigger and then move the start button, and you'll stay, and you see it locks. When you start the machine, you're looking for it to pop over once, and then you disengage your choke, and it should jump to full run. There it goes. It popped once. I turn it now to regular idle, and what you'll see me do is I'll pull it, the machine starts to rev, and I'll grab this button to pull it out of start mode and drop it into idle, because you don't need to rev it when it's warm. Once you just need to get it going. Now when you heard it, you heard the machine rev up because this clutch is engaged. It's in stop mode right now. It's really important on this machine not to run it in stop mode because you're putting an enormous amount of torque on the friction clutch that's in here that prevents it from spinning. So the actual bits themselves are really easy to install. You can see here a 6-splined piece of metal, and you simply line up the hole. Thanks, Joe. Slide it on, look down in the pinhole, put the pin in, and spin. There we go. Spin your piece of wire to hold the pin in place. Now you're ready to go. So let's go ahead and see this thing quickly. So again, I start it with the clutch disengaged. In this case, I know the machine's warm. Put it on the ground. Start it. Engage your clutch. Lean up against it. You can see the clutch action engaged. I'll simulate it happening. And that's what makes this a nice, safe, smart machine for doing one-man post-hole augering. It's great for doing, you're not going to be able to dig through soil with rocks that are 3 inches in diameter. The spade bit will stick on them regularly. But if you have mildly rocky material, it's fantastic. I've used this planter option when you're going to put a lot of plants in. It's awesome. I've seen the county guys use this for putting in large plantings. One last point. When you use this extension piece, it's important that you drive this bit completely down in and then add the extension piece on. If you don't do that, you're going to start with a machine that's this high, and you're basically, besides violating the directions, you're in an unsafe position. This thing is meant to be worked at hip height and worked down where it's at the center of gravity and the torque is optimal. Got to read the directions, of course, but this is a fantastic machine and this should get you going.